we still have all that garbage left that I still got to throw away to clear this area out and then continue working on the chicken coop, which I have planned for here really soon. Camp Fort Newton. I was working on the property today. I did some cleanup and I'm getting some garbage ready to be hauled out of here. But I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about something that we call the Great Dying, which has been occurring since, at least as far as I've been aware of, since 2014. We noticed it here in this area. And when I mean by Great Dying, I'm talking about the trees that are dying. We've lost about 20 oak trees in the last 8 years or so. And it's due to diseases, funguses, beetles, and a conflagration of all sorts of things coming into one and causing all sorts of environmental problems. And as far as I'm concerned, they haven't stopped dying. The trees are still dying. We're still picking up limbs from the big trees that have been dying for years now. And it all started when, I believe, it all started back in 2014 after a great drought that we had here. Jeremiah and I lived here at Camp Fort Newton permanently. And I had the habit of bringing Spanish moss from different parts of Northwest Florida to the property and putting them up on top of the trees and letting them hang down and look spooky, especially for Halloween. And one day, I noticed a scorch line on our tree line, on top of the crowns of the trees, coming in several different directions, from this direction, from the southwest and the northwest. There were streak marks of burnt leaves all on top of our trees. I thought it was some kind of hot wind or something like that. I was wrong. Those are the tops of the dead trees, of the trees that have been affected by the Great Dying. And what was happening was, as I was caring for Ranger Gary's house across the street there, his trees also had Spanish moss, and I was bringing them over here and putting them up as well. Little did I know that those Spanish moss were carrying disease. I totally regret that, but it was a learning experience. And so, as keepers of the forest, I try to maintain the area clear of brush and debris, try to keep the limbs of the trees cut down and keep the arms of the trees fairly high up and away from each other, and get the trees that are too small and are touching other trees, cut them down, and give the bigger trees some space to breathe. I really love being here at Camp Fort Newton, and I hope that by winter's end, we will have the adequate spaces that we need to spend time away from the weather, in places that we can get warmed up in, because it does get pretty cool here, and spend some nights here and hear the animals and watch the deer early in the morning. My goal is to have a greenhouse back here, have the chickens back here again, maybe some larger animals like goats and horses like we had before the great disaster which has occurred since 2014, all the way through till now, Hurricane Michael, and now with the plague upon the land that came to us. And I want to get back to teaching bushcraft, temporary shelters, emergency shelters, teaching how to grow plants, herbs, and seed, use permaculture to conserve water, and husbandry, animal husbandry, to learn how to take care of animals. Skills that have been lost to a lot of people and I had great pleasure of teaching it here at Camp Fort Newton. I remember one time we had a total of 30 people here for Samhain celebrations and spring celebration. I miss those days, but I also like the quiet days here at Camp Fort Newton, contemplating among the standing stones.